In 1922, the League of Nations placed Palestine, which was among the former Ottoman territories, under the administration of the United Kingdom. All these territories eventually became fully independent states except Palestine, expressing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. As a result of Arab demands for independence and resistance to immigration, the 1937 rebellion resulted in the United Kingdom turning the Palestine problem into the United Nations. The United Nations, through its Resolution 181A of 1947, proposed the end of the British Mandate and the partition of Palestine into two independent states, with one state declaring its independence as the State of Israel. In its 1948 war with neighboring Arab states, the state expanded to 77% of the territory of Palestine, and the 1973 hostilities were followed by UN Security Council Resolution 338, in which it called, "The General Assembly reaffirmed the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people to self-determination, national independence, sovereignty, and return." The Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People was established by the General Assembly, and the tactics employed by the Israeli forces resulted in mass casualties and heavy loss of life among the Palestinian civilian population. The Palestinian National Council announced during its meeting in Algiers the establishment of the State of Palestine. The 90s peace process in 1991, and between Israel and the Palestinians, culminated in a series of subsequent negotiations in 1993 with mutual recognition between the government of Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization, the signing of the Declaration of Principles on Interim Self-Government Arrangements, Oslo Agreement, the elections to the Palestinian Council and the presidency of the Palestinian Authority, held in 2000 at Camp David and in 2001 in Taba. The members of the Security Council vote to allow the Observer for Palestine to participate in the Council's discussion of the current situation in the occupied Palestinian territory. The Arab League adopted the Arab Peace Initiative. Prominent Israeli and Palestinian figures in 2003 held the informal Geneva Peace Agreement. Israel withdrew its settlers and troops from the Gaza Strip and maintained while the occupation continues to project its brute military power by killing unarmed civilians and bombing cities and residential buildings. What makes Israeli leaders fear the collapse of their state despite their military superiority? At a time when Israel seems to be in geopolitical expansion in the region and the world by engaging in political, military, and security alliances and agreements, it is resolving Israel's failures in its more than 70 years of existence, especially at a time when several threats against Israel have met simultaneously, and at a time when the internal division of the state is at an advanced stage. Israeli media in a close span of time have been flooded with warnings from the most prominent leaders of the state, and are about to reach the same fate as previous Jewish states. Because today she's witnessing an unprecedented case nearing collapse, the first at 77, which he brought to Israeli society to mark a year since his government was formed, cautioning that the state faces the risk of falling and collapsing due to the incoherence of its components on the one hand, that concerns over Israel's future due to its loss of sovereignty in the Negev and Galilee, and that Gantz is warned in closed session because of the gradual increase in the number of 48 Palestinians, over 1/5 of Israel's population of 9 million, and these Palestinians inside Israel continue to retain their national identity. When large-scale clashes between Palestinians and Jews broke out in a number of Arab Palestinian cities, in a newspaper article he feared the near demise of Israel before the 80th anniversary of its founding. The experience of the current Zionist Hebrew state is the third, and the rude disregard of the Talmud's warnings. Their first kingdom was established in 586, 516 BC, and the Hasmonean era lasted from 140, 37 BC. So Israel's passing of the 8th decade seems contrary to the tradition of Jewish history. He stressed in a lecture at the College of Nantania that, while there is a lot of talk about the great threats that hover over Israel, with the emergence of the self-destruction mechanism that has been mastered in recent years, it is true that it is rich and affordable. Soon, the self-extermination mechanism of mutual hatred will work, and the former prime minister will combine these statements and warnings with one common denominator: the fear of the fall of Israel. Whether for subjective internal reasons related to the lack of harmony among its components, the possibility of retreating the Jewish majority in the state.